101, 102, 103. Okay, that's enough for today. I have to do that 5 times a day to keep fit. So this is Steve Rude coming to you live on Free Comic Book Day. Now, isn't that exciting? We have a lot to be thankful for during this this virus condition here, this worldwide condition. We need to thank the cops, the fire guys, the guys who rescue kittens from trees, and we can thank that we should be very thankful for having toilet paper and not having more people drink bleach. Before we get started here, I'm going to show you the latest thing that I'm working on. So we're going to move over to the animation desk, and I'll show you what I've been working on here. This is Nexus throwing a bad guy. So this is the way it works. I break down the little stick figures here to show the movement that I need to do. And then from there, I draw it in, and I start from here. I go to there, which is here. He reaches out, grabs the bad guy. Remember, this is all for my proposed Nexus animated cartoon show that I'm pretty big on. So he reaches, grabs, swings back, rears back, and then from there, this is called an extreme, by the way. And he goes like this. So this is what I spend my off hours doing here when I'm feeling off. Let's move over to the main drawing table right here.
Someone wants to know where we're located.
Where are we located? Somewhere in the desert in UFO land. That's where we're located. We're actually in Arizona, and I've been thinking about organizing a trip over to Area 51. That's right next to Studio 54. You remember that in New York, where we all had a good time back in the 70s? Okay, so now that we know where we're located here, some things to tell you about here, besides the virus thing I wanted to bring up, and something we should all be thankful for. Brandon, bring me that toilet paper. We're going to need some more pretty soon, okay? Chloe, we're going to need you for something later on. That's Flowhard, our half beagle. That costs us $300 too much. So we got a couple things going on here for Free Comic Book Day. One is we're going to be doing a drawing of a drawing. We're going to be picking a name out of a hat for a drawing that I'll be doing live here. After all, that is the point of being live. You can see me do this drawing. I haven't thought of what I'm going to draw yet, but I have the actual paper size is going to be this fairly small 9x12 area, so we're going to zoom into that. So try to send me your mental wavelengths here so I can think of what you might be wanting me to draw here. We'll take a pause here and do the remote viewing thing here.
Yeah, someone wants to know if you ever thought about pairing with Walter White to sell meth with an artistic package.
I've never met Walter White, but you know, it's a small world, and you never know what can happen if you just get around enough and wave your hands in the middle of the road. I think you're going to attract a lot of attention. One of them might be Walter White.
Yeah, someone says draw OMAC.
Draw OMAC. Okay, well, there you go. I have an idea of what to draw here. Thank you so much, for you guys that are tuning in.
Oh, Vicente says glad to say hello and watch you from France.
Yeah, I think he's a cool guy. I've talked with him in the past. We've been getting some. I got to tell you guys, we've been getting some incredible feedback for some of the newsletters we've been sending out. I'm honestly floored by the intellectual density of the people that follow my work, and it just confirms what I've always known. Steve Rude and Nexus fans are simply the creme de la creme of the comic book crowd. There is no competing with them, but I think you all know that. Let's do OMAC here while we're fielding some questions, and then we're going to do a drawing for the lucky winner who's going to receive this sketch. So let's start with OMAC here, okay? Let's get zoomed in a little more here. Cameraman can come over on this side here. And I'll start off with the neck, okay? I advise any artist to start off with a neck. There's our head shape right there.
Oh, someone says, I love your light table. Is that from the 40s? Hope you guys are doing well.
My light table is actually part of my animation table, and I think a lot of you already know that that light table was given to me by the late Doug Wily, the creator of the Johnny Quest cartoon show, back in 1964. So that's why it looks a little vintage, okay? I'm a vintage kind of guy, so for me that's an easy adaptation.
Yeah, someone says, hi, Steve, watching from Phoenix. I can pick up the sketch when I win.
Okay, it's good to be optimistic.
Someone says, greetings from Vegas. Someone says, do you know Italian Mastro Palio? I can't pronounce it. That's a no.
We have an Italian expert here who apparently does not know the reference being made by the fan here.
You're the best man. I'm 14. Want to eventually get into comics. You and Ramita Sr. are my favorite.
Oh, no, that's a compliment. Anyone who lumps me along with John Romita Sr., who's a great idol of mine and always will be, he's got my definite thumbs up. Guys got to tell you a story here. I've been in touch with John Romita ever since I met him, like good 12 years ago at one of the conventions in Oakland, and I've made many phone calls to him directly where he lives in New York. And last year I actually made a pilgrimage to his house, and I was hoping to see the attic where he used to work doing Spider-Man back in the '60s, but that's all long gone. I think he's got a new home, and it's too modernized for me. I was hoping I'd step back in time to the 1960s and see the actual environment where he drew all those Spider-Mans, because boy, that's exciting for someone like me who is so reverent of guys from the past. So there's my underdrawing of OMAC right there. Let's grab a marker or two.
Oh, that person that asked about your light table. So I don't have my glasses on, sorry. It was Christina Linsner.
Christina Lindbergh?
Linsner.
I love Christina Lindbergh. One of the most beautiful porn stars from the 70s that I've ever seen before. So I'm so glad that she called all the way from Sweden.
Yeah, hello from St. Croix, Virgin Islands. I'm an emergency worker deployed down here to help with the hurricane recovery.
Now you see what I mean, folks? Someone who just wrote in, just told us that he's dealing with hurricane victims in the Bahamas, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see.
Virgin Islands.
Yeah, Virgin Islands. So, Virgin Islands. Are there really virgins living there? No wonder he wants to live there.
Here you go. Mike Barron. Is he real or a total fiction? Inquiring minds want to know.
Who's fictional? Mike Barron, my partner in crime, writes.
Yeah. Hi, watching from Italy. Hello, Steve Jude. Thanks for your work. From Maurizio.
There we go. We are learning some Italian
There you
while we're tuning in here.
How about something out of your wheelhouse like Ghost Rider or Spawn? Would be interested to see what you come up with.
That is definitely out of my wheelhouse, as people always are keen to say nowadays.
And Christina says, no, not Christina Lindbergh. You're hilarious.
Well, hi to Christina. It's nice to hear from you. And hi to Joe. Yeah, hi to Joe. So I guess this is kind of like an OMAC here. I'm no Jack Kirby, but I can give it my best shot. You see, 40 years of training is going to get you somewhere in life. So you guys all know what this means. This is the brother eye symbol. This is so concurrent with the times today.
Yeah, Jay Ellis says hello from Madtown. Robert Rivard says when you draw Kirby style and you are the best at that, do you mentally shift? You're thinking Kirby isn't a style, he's a whole different way of seeing.
Yeah, that's so true. Guy wants to know if I shift my brain waves to assimilate Kirby. Doing Kirby is so natural for me because, for one reason, I learned to draw at an early age from Jack Kirby by copying his comic book stuff, and that continued all throughout high school, and that was a blast. So when I actually got into art school, properly, a proper art school, when they had a figure model up there to draw from live, I just drew a Jack Kirbyized version of that model because I was so imbued with the Kirby sensibilities. So, I don't have to shift. It's pretty natural.
You'll like this. Greetings from Detroit.
Worse than Detroit? Somebody from Detroit is calling in. Now, we all know about the Zucker brother movies. I'm from Milwaukee, and they equally slammed that, so don't feel bad about that.
Yeah. Mario said, speaking of Italians, what's your opinion of Milo Manara?
My opinion is non-existent because I have no idea who Milo Manara is.
Jess says hi.
Super?
Super.
My little girl's tuning in from her bedroom about 20 feet from here.
Oh.
Some guys just gotta hog the limelight all the time.
Yeah, Kathan McAllister says, oh, Mac, well, we know the dude will do him justice. Howdy from Texas.
Yeah, howdy back. Howdy back from Arizona here.
Someone says, Chuck Reader says, do you think Kurt Swan is underrated?
Well, I always give you my honest opinion. There's no use to giving dishonest opinions. I was never a Kurt Swan fan. He was a little static to me. And when you compare him to Kirby Dynamics, which is something I responded to, that's really where my artistic slant is always gone for just in-your-face dynamics. And Kurt was a more classically trained guy, Kurt Swan. I met Kurt Swan once back in, when was it? 84, I think, at the San Diego Comic Convention. That's when everyone was still around and still alive. And it was just incredible to meet all these guys. I remember Murphy Anderson. He was an incredible gentleman. All these guys from those war years would always walk around in suits, and that's how you could always recognize them. Everyone else walked around in T-shirts and their underwear hanging out. But Kurt Swan was another gentleman, just someone who, in his presence, you felt warm and comfortable, and very accepted. These guys had no biases. They were just they were World War II survivors, and they were just wonderful people. And that's my opinion of Kurt Swan.
Greg Gross says, the talented Steve Rude. No one channels Kirby better than Steve.
No, thanks, Greg. That's very nice.
Todd Mulrooney says, hi, Steve. Greatly appreciate that you're willing to do a cover for us. Florida Man is going to be awesome.
Florida Man. Who knows about Florida Man? That's a Mike Barron scribed comic book that when Mike was down here telling me about it, I was in stitches. It sounds hilarious because it's based on real life. And anything that's based on real life has got my approval here because it's based on real life, and two, you can extrapolate from the stories you hear on the news and go anywhere you want with it because it's fiction, but is it really? Since it's based on something that's currently taking place, I recommend the book with great zeal. So there's my Kirby OMAC right there. I don't think it's as Kirbyized as it should be. But us artists, we're just endlessly picky about what we do here.
Yeah. David Hensel says, would love to see you draw a Nexus sketch. Love that book so much. Thanks for posting all the outstanding work on your Facebook page. It has been greatly appreciated during these challenging times.
Well, I'm always up for a challenge, so thank you for writing in.
Mario says, Milwaukee, isn't that the land of Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yeah, it is. It is the land of Jeffrey Dahmer, and also Plainsville is the home of Ed Gein, another stellar person of great repute. I remember I was taking a drive one time, a vacation throughout Wisconsin, and my girlfriend at the time, Mr. Lizzie, I called her Mr. Lizzie, and we were driving, and we actually drove into Plainsville, and I saw this huge billboard, "Welcome to Plainsville," and I thought, "Geez, Mr. Lizzie, why don't they say home of Ed Gein?" And Lizzie just, I was serious. You want to draw people into your town, name it after the mass murderer who put the town on the map. So there's Omak right there.
Scott Connor says hello from Blacksburg, Virginia. Reason Doug Wildly. It blows my mind that he and Dave Stevens pitched an animated Doc Savage project to Filmation. Oh, what fun that would have been.
Yeah, well, one of my great regrets, I got to tell you guys, is that I didn't get to know Dave Stevens better. I would see Dave. You guys probably like to hear these stories, so I'll just go on about these a little bit. The only time I ever saw Dave was basically at the San Diego Comic Book Convention. And what I remember about Dave is that he was always smiling. I never saw this guy without a smile on his face. And I would greet him from a distance and just, wave at him. He would wave back. I met him a couple times back in the 80s where we had more time to chat. But it was always brief. We were always so busy at that show. And then I saw him at a couple independent shows. I also saw Dave, come to think of it, at one of the CAPS meetings, the comic book professional meeting that took place in Burbank, California. And that was where everybody in the whole business showed up. It was just fantastic. Sergio Aragonis was there. Doug Wildey would show up to that. Kirby on occasion. And Dave showed up to one of those. And this was in the mid-90s, and he was worried that he was kind of spinning his wheels artistically. And he really wanted to do something to get him back on the saddle and really get him excited about his art again. And if anyone who's had a chance to read a copy of Brush with Passion, which is Dave's bio that he put together with Arnie Fenner just before he died from the cancer, he talks a lot about that period that I remember talking to him with at the CAPS meeting. So yeah. Getting to know Dave would have been something I would have greatly relished. I think we had a lot in common. So let's sign it here, okay?
Someone says, do you ever put your pencil in the wrong place? If so, I'd like to know, because it's got to be an expensive rarity.
Do I ever put my pencil in the wrong place? Well, I know it's gone up my nose a few times with a rubber hose. Maybe in my ear. You got to watch out for that, though. You don't want to lose your hearing like Pete Townsend. No, not really. I've made some bad when it comes to finding the right line, which is I think what you're asking about, I learned back in 1984 from a teacher back in the University of Wisconsin how to put the right line down. And if it wasn't exactly right, you would go over it again, and the teacher called it producing a stereo line. And you always draw like this. We were always taught to draw like this. And that's the way I've drawn ever since. Because that way you're using, every artist knows this, you're using your entire arm rather than, this way, which is just using your wrist pretty much. So we learned to really freely swing our pencil around when we were working on paper that was this big right here and try to get the gesture down. Yeah, stereo lines. I never forgot that.
Rob Felber says, when they asked Kurt Swan to redo Kirby's Superman faces, the difference in style was unsettling.
Yeah, it was actually, as I recall, it was just Murphy Anderson redrawing the entire stuff and then him inking it as well. But I could be wrong about that. I've always heard it was Murphy Anderson doing the corrections.
No, someone else replied down here, said that was Murphy Anderson.
Okay, yeah. Well, it just shows, once again, how astute our fans are, which is something I bring up alarmingly frequently before I go on these podcasts here.
Yeah, someone says, hello from the smaller London, Ontario. Keep up the amazing work.
London, Ontario, okay. Is it cold up there? What month are we in here? In Arizona, there are no seasons. It's always hot, blazing hot. March, April, May. It's getting warmer. Okay, so there's our Omak sketch right there. To the best of my abilities at the moment here. So let's do the drawing of a drawing here. And in order to do this, we're going to require the services of our half beagle, half dachshund Chloe the Flowhard. So let's try to get Flowhard in.
Where's Chloe?
Chloe! Chloe, it's time. Chloe. Chloe, you remember what we talked about, right? Come on, stop kidding around here, Flowhard. She's holding out for milk bones. I just know she is. What about Shadow Blowhard? Shadow Blowhard. Shadow. Better late than never. Okay, Chloe. You remember what we talked about, right? It's time to do the drawing, right? We're going to seal it with a handshake, right? Good, okay. So you reach in and pick out the one you think is best, okay? Here, I'll hold it up for you, okay? Go on. Don't be shy, Chloe. Come on, we talked about this, right? You don't want to chicken out now, okay? Okay, so she picked one here. Let me grab it, okay? With my eagle eyes and was able to resuscitate it just before it went buried under all the names. The name is Tony Becker is the winner of this OMAC drawing done right in front of your very eyes on Free Comic Book Day. So Tony Becker, congratulations. We're very happy that you're not here to win this because of the virus, but this is going out to your home addresses because we hear your home address, okay?
Well,
I think the last thing we want to mention here is we have a Kickstarter coming up. Now you know that I'm really not big in hyping things right here, especially when it comes to me and myself, but I know you guys are probably interested in this. We haven't put out an actual sketchbook, you know, the ones that everyone puts out every year, for a good 5 years. Mr. Seeley was in the hospital for a good 3 months, and $1 billion later, thanks to the rescue and attempts, the financial rescue attempts of you guys, seriously, we were able to bail him out of the hospital before they turned him over to the incinerator. So in that 5 years that we weren't able to do anything with yearly sketchbooks that we normally put out, we are now assembling this massive package that's going to include everything from the last 5 years. So I hope you guys are really into that kind of stuff. Details on that will be coming up on, this is the key card that I was told to hold up here to give you all the info that you need right here. Flowhard, good job.
yeah. So if they go to the Free Comic Book Day 2020, they might win the sketch the next hour.
Ah, that's right. So all throughout today, on the hour, which is the upcoming hour, will be 1 o'clock Arizona time and California time. We're going to be doing another drawing for a drawing. I like the way that sounds. So that's going to be coming up at 1 o'clock today. If you're able to tune in, and we'll be doing another drawing. Hopefully something that one of you fans is going to mention, and I'll do that up for you guys before your very eyes. And we'll do another drawing. Flowhard, you good with that? Okay, that's a yes. See that wagging tail right there? That's a confirmation. So we'll see you in a bit at 1 o'clock, and adios. And arrivederci. And what's German? Auf Wiedersehen. Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm glad my memory's intact at 63 years old. You guys take care. I'll see you later.